people are not posting because they're petrified for it not to hit the metric of their prior post. Like literally humans are not sharing stuff with other humans, which is like the core thing of why this all worked. Because they're worried that this picture of this coconut shake is not gonna do as well as the picture of them hiking, and so they're literally not posting. I mean, to live a life predicated on your success and happiness is predicated on likes or followers in a social network is a very vulnerable state, but has always been our vulnerable state. Yeah. Do not confuse this. This is not a social media problem. This is a human problem. It's the same reason that people buy Mercedes that they can't afford, or buy homes that they can't afford, or wear sneakers that they can't afford. Or, I mean, high school never really ends for 99% of people.
Well, that was that initial tribal impulse, that evolutionary biology that that said, get along with the tribe, make sure the tribe likes you, you won't get exiled, and then the tribe will take care of you. But now there's no actual tribe that's hunting for food and foraging for fucking berries, but we've universalized it to social media and the entirety of the world, so it can become this paralyzing thing that our brains, which were used to the Dunbar number, which was 150 people, the maximum amount of people that you could actually give a shit about in your tribe, really is what the psychologists assume. But now it's like everybody, and that's kind of fucking overwhelming. And I don't think we've really adapted, and I don't think people are really keen to how much of that social pressure actually affects us.
And the modern day parent is blaming the network, not the way they're parenting their child.
Right. With extraordinary forces.
I want to stay on this, I apologize. This is a very big thing for me. There is no social network. It's a platform. Everything on Instagram was done by a human. People are like, Gary, I'm so crippled by this bullshit, and like, I'm like, delete Instagram. I'm really, really, really passionate about accountability. We need to put it in the right place. We don't need to look the other way where there's systematic issues. There are, but we have to put accountability on a pedestal.
Yep.
Back to lack of entitlement. Accountability, much of a kissing cousin of lack of entitlement, is such a driver for me. Every time something happens bad, I'm like, that's my fault. And that makes me happy, not sad. It makes me feel empowered.
Yeah. I think with what we have to recognize is this is an extraordinary force. The access to social media is an extraordinary force. Doesn't mean it's good or bad. It's just a force that exists. So when you have a force that exists like that, it's the job of parents, it's the job of me and you, it's the job of everybody who's talking about it, to just remind people like, this is a strong force, everyone.
I'm just struggling to be upset about stuff. I don't know what else to say. I struggle with, my perspective on life is very simple, which is it's such a blessing. It's so rare, you know. Last time we were here, I made a video with you guys, and in there I talked about the 400 trillion to one, and in that micro piece of content, which I've chopped up and used, it's one of my most successful pieces of content ever. Happened in this building a couple years ago. And I've always internalized it. I finally articulated it a couple years ago, and I continue to internalize it, which is, I am happy because I'd like to understand, I'd like somebody to sell me on what to be upset about.
Well, it's a failure of perspective when you're upset.
It's a failure of perspective.
It really is. And if you can keep perspective like you are in line, you are happy.
I'll tell you what's really emerged. Entitlement. I was parented in a really, and my circumstances put me in a place where I just don't think anybody owes me anything. Not society, not the government, not people I do nice things for. That's a killer.
Yeah.
People struggle so much when they do something nice for somebody, they think that person owes them something. I'm desperately trying to give more value to every person I ever cross paths with and never ask for anything in return. That is literally the framework of my life. My great hope is that I can bring more value to people than they bring to me, and I'm never in a dire situation where I ever have to ask for anything in return.
Well, you keep yourself in that abundance state, right? So you're not in need, you're not desperate, you don't have the expectation, oh, I'm giving this transactionally so that I receive this, and then when those expectations aren't met, then you have the hangover of that expectation, the sadness that comes from chasing that thrill of hoping to get something and then it failing. Instead, if you just give and have the act of giving be the gift itself, like, oh, I helped this person.
And I'm in that in a lot of ways. That's right. And then it's the same reason I'm an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur is the win. And I believe we're living through a great era right now where people are looking for the money and the things you can buy with the money from entrepreneurship. And that is why I believe that in the next decade, there will be an enormous conversation of people being unhappy entrepreneurs during this generation.
Yeah.
Because it is so in the air in your Instagram stream, success and the perception of success. And I've really started to articulate something that feels really true to me, which is, how do I can only be responsible for myself. I hope it encourages others, but how do I start making happiness the true North Star, not money? I don't know what to say. Like, not stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
well, anything that you place outside of yourself for happiness is going to be a dead end street, right? Because that thing is something that you'll have to constantly chase. That'll be the rabbit that keeps you on the Greyhound track, always running around. Oh, if it's money, well, then you're going to need more money when you get money, and you're going to need more and more and more, and you'll keep feeding this thing rather than recognizing that happiness lives within us as soon as we acknowledge it.
And for everybody who's watching right now, do not confuse this for a lack of ambition. I'm ambitious as fuck. I just am really happy with the process. And I'm also super weirdly happy with losing.
Because that's the process.
I lost to you in pool and in, what is that thing again? Sauce. I beat you in free throws and darts. I'm sitting here and I only want to play sauce and pool. And I think there's something in that, right? The Rangers, New York Rangers, and the Yankees have won world championships during my fandom. The Knicks and Jets have not. I do not watch the Rangers and Yankees anymore. I'm diehard on the other two. I'm in it for the process. Like, I was at the airport. I told you off camera, I took a red eye, which I'm trying not to do for my own body and like rest and all that, but I did. And I was in San Francisco, and the Warriors game is on. And I actually just don't consume a lot of like stuff in general, but like I was watching this Warriors game, and I grew up in the kind of like tech boom of 2005 through 11, and I'd go to San Francisco a lot. And when I tell you not one fucking human in San Francisco knew who the Warriors were in 2005 to 11, not one. And I'm watching this game, it's the end of the game, and I'm watching these fans celebrate. And there was just this wild feeling going through my body of almost like a really funny mix of like, I don't know, I find it crazy when people become bandwagon fans and think that they're successful through their team's success. We are all super lucky. Like, if you think about how long humans have actually been around, like the airplane seems pretty intense. Like, there's a ton of shit that has happened, right? Electricity, the printing press, but like, it's on that level. There's a lot of people who, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who don't live, I'm looking at this room, everybody kind of in an age group where we are living through the beginning of the platform that arguably is one of the 1 to 5 biggest inventions and impacts on humans ever. And so that's intense. It just is. Like, in some ways, certain generations had world wars and other things. Ours is this incredible acceleration of technology. And look, this may seem mundane for somebody who's watching this in 1,000 years because the robots took over, and like there's just a million things that could happen, but we are in a very special time. And right now we have gone into chapter 2. Chapter 1 in 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9 about all the maturity of the internet was nirvana, right? It was all good. Look at all these people doing well. Super cool, super nice. The cliche thing that always happens is what's happening right now. Now we're demonizing it. America and humans love to build shit up and then tear it down. We loved building Zucks up. Now we're loving, demonizing him, and then we're gonna love for him to come back. Like, this is what we do. Mm-hmm. I just really, really, really want people to stop blaming Instagram.
Yeah.
There is no Instagram, there's you. You don't like it? Don't consume it. It's free.
Yeah, I mean, just the same as don't blame the wine.
Don't
you're
blame
the
the
one.
wine.
You're the one who uncorks it.
100%.
You're the one who drinks it. And I understand that there's pressures, and I understand that there's addictive tendencies, and I understand the way that the brain works, and I understand it's not easy, and some people may have it rougher than other people, and all that's understood. But fundamentally, it's your hand, it's your bottle, it's your corkscrew. You can make a different choice.